So Apple overnight updated the iPad mini into its 7th generation, a not entirely unexpected development, but is it worth getting excited about? Well, look, here's my early thoughts. Because, look, the iPad mini has always been a curious part of the iPad lineup. It was originally more of a low-cost option because having a smaller screen meant you were getting less iPad. But more recent generations have more focus on power and portability rather than offering the lowest priced iPad you can buy. That still remains the thing that Apple calls the iPad, not the iPad mini. My general recommendation here has generally been to steer people towards the iPad over the mini because that's felt like it was the better value proposition. But I know it's totally got its fans, even though not quite the iPad for me personally. So what's worth getting excited about here? Well, look, I think the big thing here is that bump up to the A17 Pro. It makes the iPad mini 7th gen, in effect, a slightly larger iPhone 15 Pro. And that does bring with the prospect of running more advanced apps, running more games, running Apple Intelligence, which I'll get into in a minute. And look, at tablet sizes, there is real scope to use the power in Apple's higher-end processors in more effective ways, although that smaller screen will obviously have an impact on quite how much multitasking you might want to do. I suspect the multitasking laptop replacing crowd will still be happier with an iPad Pro. On a visual level, and this is 100% subjective, I do like technology products that come in blue. So while the iPad mini 7th gen size isn't my jam, the new color choice most definitely is. It's kind of interesting to note that if you opt for the iPad mini 7th gen in its new Wi-Fi cellular iteration, it's only available worldwide with an eSIM, not a physical SIM of any type. The prior generation had nano SIM support. And that eSIM only thing is a step that Apple has taken with its iPhone lines, for example, in the US for the past couple of generations, but not here in Australia as yet. Then again, adding eSIM to an iPad mini 7th gen not only adds a couple of grams to the weight, but also depletes your wallet by an additional $250 Australian. That's quite a pricey eSIM, and I really start to think about hotspots and using a phone instead as being a more sensible financial option there. On the camera front, I think there's not too much to get excited about beyond perhaps document scanning, but then tablets have long been the worst way to capture really compelling images. Apple, of course, is putting a hefty push behind Apple Intelligence, noting that the power of the A17 Pro means that the iPad mini 7th gen will be capable of using Cupertino's particular take on AI when it arrives later this year for Australian users. Honestly, I'm still not 100% sold on the true utility of consumer-facing AI from any brand, but I guess there's scope here for interest if features like rewriting of your text on the fly appeals to you. It makes me shudder, but then, obviously, I do have a bias here in preferring actual human-produced content. The new iPad mini 7th gen is available from today for pre-order, with availability from the 23rd of October, which is only next Wednesday. I've reached out to Apple to chase up a review model if available, so watch this space. And speaking of that, thanks for watching.